Caitlin Clark went absolutely scorched earth in the first half against the Dallas Wings today, dropping 19 points in the first half, 21 points by the time she left the game.
Caitlin driving, just speeds right past Beckers. Let's go. Clark open, wide open three, way too open. Bang! Oh, what a steal by Caitlin. Easy lay. Beautiful. Clark, step back. Oh, what a pass too. Just beautiful basketball.
There's a version of Caitlin Clark that WNBA fans always believed existed. Faster, more physical. A version that had solved the defensive limitations, tightened the shot making under pressure, and figured out how to impose herself on a professional game the way she did at Iowa for 4 years. That version was always in there somewhere. Most people just hadn't seen it yet, not consistently. Not in a way that removed all doubt until this preseason.
So, Caitlin Clark looked absolutely incredible in preseason. Absolutely incredible. And I'm going to be real here. We got to talk about how she could be on MVP watch. She is moving as well as I've ever seen Caitlin Clark move. Also, she is a lot stronger than her rookie year. There was a happy medium coming into this season, and that looks to be the shape that she's in this year.
What Clark showed in the 2026 WNBA preseason wasn't just an athlete returning from injury. It was a statement. Per 32 minutes, 28 points, 11 assists, 5.5 rebounds, 28, 11, 5.5. And here's what most people aren't fully appreciating. These numbers came from someone who barely played competitive basketball in 2025. Let that sink in.
And like, this is a player that's never going to be a good defender. Like, she might be her projection is at her peak to be a bang average on-ball defender. I consider her a bang average defender. I think she's a below average on-ball defender. I think her activity in getting in passing lanes is good. And I think when there's an actual scheme and system, as in refusing screens,
she generated open looks for herself and teammates at a level that made opposing defensive coordinators visibly uncomfortable. And she's doing it as the betting favorite to win MVP this season. At BetMGM, Clark sits at plus 225. Ajah Wilson right behind at plus 250. The gap in numbers is small. The gap in what it means for the broader politics of this league is enormous.
Hey Asia, so as the league, continues to evolve, talent across the league continues to rise, just how much more difficult does that make it for you to chase after your 4th championship?
I don't think it's difficult at all. I think it's just, we want the league to be talented. We want it to be a dogfight every single night, only because that's what makes us great. That's what makes the product something that people want to watch and come and support. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem every single year because someone's taking what's already in our house.
Before we get into what Ajah Wilson thinks about all of this, and she always has thoughts, we need to establish something first. Caitlin Clark in this preseason looked like the best version of herself that professional basketball has ever seen. That's not hype. That's not Clark fans projecting hope onto preseason appearances against depleted rosters. That's what actually happened on the court. And the physical evidence is right there for anyone willing to watch with honest eyes.
The Caitlin Clark highlights, the Barbie night game. Caitlin Clark in the first quarter generated 14 points from conceding baskets and just either running down the floor and hitting people on layups or going coast to coast herself. That type of ability to generate transition is huge because this is the best transition player in the league.
She was moving differently. Lateral quickness noticeably improved. Faster than the version of Clark who played through injuries in 2025, when she was largely immobile even during technically healthy stretches. She found the right physical balance, stronger than her rookie year, but not so heavy it weighs down the speed that makes her most dangerous. And perhaps the most important development of all, she became significantly more active off the ball and in the passing lanes on defense. Only serious watchers will catch that detail in a preseason box score, but it matters more than almost anything else.
Billings down low, hands it off to Clark. Clark being guarded by Gardner. Puts the floater up and rattles it in. She is a knockdown shooter. She is feisty over there making the offensive foul. Clark takes the three and drills it.
Here's something worth saying out loud. Caitlin Clark's jump shot is at a career-best level right now. Her mid-range game, the pull-up, the floater off the dribble looks more natural and more automatic than it ever has. And going right. That was the consistent criticism of her professional game in year one. Defenses scouted it. Coaches game planned for it, funnel her right and neutralize her. It was a real limitation. Right now in May 2026, it looks like it no longer exists. She's finishing going right, pulling up going right, creating space going right, in ways that suggest she spent a significant portion of her offseason specifically attacking that weakness. When the most talked about hole in your game becomes one of your weapons, that's when serious MVP conversations begin. The conversations have already started.
Paige Bueckers, who had the 5th highest scoring rookie season last year, as Clark gets by Bueckers and gets to the rim.
Again, a lot of shoes were filled last year.
Catch and shoot, and Clark delivers with a three. Lana Smith struggled to pull it down, and it's Clark who sets sail for the other end.
And the assists. 11 per 32 minutes is a number that should make people stop and recalibrate. This isn't just the product of willing teammates. This is a player reading the defense one pass ahead, putting the ball exactly where it needs to be before the defense can react. Clark forces rotation decisions with her shot threat from 40 feet out, then punishes the gaps those rotations create. 28 points and 11 assists simultaneously. That's not volume production. That's transformative influence, a primary scorer, and a system-level engine operating at the same time. MVP voters don't just reward numbers. They reward impact that goes beyond what any box score captures. Right now, Clark is doing exactly that.
All right, y'all, good job. Okay, good job. Game one. I thought our energy and our effort was really good. But overall, y'all, it was a really good effort. Okay, a really good effort. I'm pleased with the way that we went out there and battled. So good. Be proud of yourselves. Okay. Here we go. Together, 3, 1, 2, 3. Together.
Here's the part that tends to get overshadowed by the individual numbers. The Indiana Fever won convincingly in preseason. The team around Clark looked sharp, confident, and ready. Mitchell looked engaged. The spacing was crisp. This wasn't a franchise praying for Clark to carry everything alone. It was a functional unit operating at a high level, with Clark elevating every element around her. That context matters for the MVP conversation. Voters don't just reward individual stats in a vacuum. They reward players whose performance genuinely makes their team better in ways that influence outcomes. Right now, a healthy and fully engaged Caitlin Clark makes the Fever dangerous. And that version of the Fever, the one that showed up in these preseason games, is exactly why Clark belongs at the front of the MVP conversation before a single regular season game has been played. Now let's talk about A'ja Wilson. Because the MVP conversation isn't complete without her, and her reaction to being second, even by the slimmest margin in betting odds, tells you everything about the dynamic that has defined this league for 2 years. Wilson has won MVP 4 times, including each of the last 2 seasons. One of the most decorated players in WNBA history, and she earned every single trophy playing dominant, consistent basketball while Clark was still in college. That record is not up for debate. Nobody with serious knowledge of this league would try to take it away from her. But here's the thing about A'ja Wilson. She is deeply aware of how this league talks. And she has made it very clear, in very specific ways, that she doesn't always like what she hears.
And so we have to do everything that we can to defend it. We have to make sure that we don't lose ourselves in the process. And so I want to make sure that our locker room understands that yes, there's a target on our back, there's going to always be one, but we have to stay true to us and our system and how we're going to be moving forward. No matter what the outside noise may be, no matter what the league may look like, we have to continue to be the aces in the standard that we're set. So really, I can't really concentrate on what everyone else got going on. I can only pay attention to what we have in our locker room, and I think we have something pretty special.
When Wilson was named Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year in December 2025, She didn't simply celebrate. She used the platform to make a pointed argument. Sometimes you need a proof in the pudding. Read that again. That's not a thank you speech, not a reflection on a great year. That's a direct, deliberate response to the ongoing narrative that the WNBA's commercial momentum is singularly attached to Caitlin Clark's name. Wilson delivered it with the calm confidence of someone who has been sitting quietly, while someone else gets called the face of a league she has dominated for years. The sports world understood exactly what she meant. Wilson has always believed, and the record strongly supports it, that she is the star of this league. She has the trophies. She has the dominance. She has been patient, but patience starts to look like losing the conversation. And right now, with Clark at plus 225 and Wilson at plus 250, the conversation is moving in a direction that doesn't sit well with her.
Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have?
Why couldn't they have made a league the athlete of the year? Because the athlete of the year award goes to an, meaning one, athlete. A better question is, why can't you be happy that this is the first time an athlete from the WNBA has gotten this award? Why are you not simply clapping for Caitlin Clark and saying, good job, guys, the WNBA is getting more representation?
Here's what makes this genuinely fascinating, rather than just another social media argument. The WNBA's annual GM survey dropped in early May 2026, and it told an interesting story. 60% of GMs predicted Wilson repeats as MVP. Breena Stewart received 27%. Clark received votes but didn't lead any category. So on one side, the insiders. The people who run franchises and watch this game at the deepest level, largely backing Wilson. On the other side, the betting markets, putting Clark at the front. Both can be accurate at the same time. GMs are evaluating track record, durability, and calculated skepticism about whether Clark can maintain preseason form across a full season. Betting markets are evaluating trajectory, popularity, and the instinct that a fully healthy Clark is the most dangerous offensive player in women's basketball when everything is firing. Both arguments have real merit, and Wilson knows it, which is precisely why this MVP race is going to define the 2026 season in ways that go far beyond who walks away with the trophy in September.
Driving, stops. What a pass! They said she's not a point guard. Like, what are you talking about? Raven, using the screen. Great pass! Swing! Wide open, Clark. Don't even gotta look. Bang! Caitlin. Hey, Caitlin, dancing with AZ. We're dancing. You're with Paige, but I'm dancing with you. Foul. Great pass inside to Mitchell. Gosh. Clark, another pass to Kelsey! Deja vu! She can't pass. Get out of here.
Here's where everything lands right now. Clark enters the 2026 season as the betting favorite for MVP, faster than she's ever been professionally. Physical limitations addressed, more active defensively off the ball. Jump shot, mid-range, and going right, all at career-best levels. Preseason per 32-minute numbers of 28 points, 11 assists, and 5.5 rebounds are the kind of production that carries a player through the early weeks while the rest of the league finds its rhythm. None of that is going to sit quietly with a Ja Wilson, and it was never going to. Wilson has spent 2 full years winning MVP awards while the broader sports world debated whether this league needs Clark to matter commercially. She's been direct and unambiguous in her pushback. She's watched Clark's name sit at the center of every major WNBA conversation. Jersey sales, TV ratings, arena attendance, while 4 MVP trophies sit on a shelf that not enough people outside hardcore women's basketball circles talk about. That's a genuine frustration with a legitimate foundation.
So many women that have my color are mad about the fact that a white girl came into that league and dominated it her rookie year, so much to the point where she got Athlete of the Year. It's almost like these people don't want their sport to grow. It's like they want the WNBA to continue to struggle. And she's talking about it being the league of the year. It's still on pace to lose tens of millions of dollars this year. So why would it make sense for that to be league of the year when it can't even turn a profit?
Nobody can look at Wilson's accomplishments and argue she hasn't earned the right to be called the face of this league. But here's where sport gets complicated. Being the best player and being the most talked about player are two different conversations. And for the first time in her career, Clark might be in contention to own both simultaneously. Wilson can win 60% of GM votes, defend her MVP title, do everything she's always done, and she almost certainly will, because generational talent doesn't stop being great just because someone else is getting attention. But if Clark comes out healthy and in the form we saw this preseason, this MVP race is going to be a genuine, season-long argument. And every time Clark's name sits above Wilson's in a headline, a betting table, a broadcast graphic, a social media conversation, Wilson is going to feel it. She always does. The 2026 WNBA regular season opens May 9th against the Dallas Wings. The cameras are ready. The league is ready. And for the first time in her professional career, Clark arrives as the betting favorite for the biggest individual award in women's basketball. Whether or not she wins it, that shift means something. And the player who has held that position for 2 years is paying very close attention.